Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the News Project Live. I'm Andrew McKeever, the news director at GNAT-TV's News Project, and it's a pleasure to be back with you again, Friday, September 23rd. Um, Got a few local stories to catch up with you. The main one, I guess, is the decision by the Manchester Select Board to keep the town hall in its present location up on the northern end of town there on Main Street. There had been some discussion about whether or not to move the town hall to a new location on Depot Street at 301 Depot Street, where there's currently three retail shops standing. Actually, that was the former location of the town hall. Used to be right there until about 1980, 87, 88 or so. Um, anyway, that that move of the town hall to that location on Depot Street was going to be part of a larger project to bring roughly 40 units of housing uh, to be built on the back end of the parking lot behind those three buildings. That project is still being discussed and is underway, but the idea of having the town hall integrated into that has been canceled for at least for now and probably for quite a long time. The idea was that the town hall would be sort of an anchor tenant to the project, but the cost of it and some other issues like the floodplain was higher than expected, and there was concern that some of the town records might be jeopardized if there was a serious flood. Um, sort of brought the select board to the point where they just said, you know what, we're just going to stay at our current location next door to the fire department and rescue squad. So looks like that discussion has now reached the end of the line. But again, like I said, the housing project is still alive and under discussion, although no final decisions have been made on that one yet either. Uh, at the same select board meeting last Tuesday, several interesting items were on the agenda. One of them was the proposal to build a bridge over the west branch of the Battenkill along the Riverwalk there. It's been a project under discussion for about 7 or 8 years now at this point. I think it's been discussed, and for one reason or another, the bridge, which would kind of provide a link to both sides of the stream there, has never been able to be built. But there's another effort underway now by the folks who are sort of maintaining the Riverwalk, and they are looking to get some financial assistance from the town to help meet the roughly $800,000 cost of the proposed bridge. Um, One of their spokesmen went before the board and was asking for to see if the town would be willing to stump up about 150 to $200,000 towards the project. They've fundraised about 400,000, roughly half of the projected cost already, and we're looking to see if the town would be willing to chip in a little bit towards the remainder. Uh, the select board took the issue under advisement, didn't make a decision, didn't say yay or nay. It's quite possible that it could wind up on the articles for the March town meeting, whether a floor vote or Australian ballot. So we'll be certainly watching that. We'll be working on a little segment about that next week, and we'll have more information for you about that at that point. Um, Also, staying in Manchester, it's I think this was a news item that came out last week, but in case you missed it, some of you will remember that about 10 years or so ago, there was a proposal to build a hotel on a piece of property roughly across the street from the town hall or the synagogue there. Um, that project never got off the ground, but there's a new effort underway, perhaps to build a hotel there. It would be slightly smaller than the one that was permitted 10 years ago, but still roughly 67 unit hotel that would be built there if this all goes through and all the permits are obtained. So the Development Review Board in Manchester last week approved an amended permit for the hotel called the Orchid Hotel, and we'll see how that goes. There's been some of you will probably remember that 10 years ago, some of the neighbors were concerned about the noise level. The folks who are trying to bring this new hotel now, have been working very hard to minimize the sound impact, and you know, gone to much effort to kind of direct the noise away from the neighbors behind the proposed hotel and towards Main Street. Shifting over to politics for a second, we hosted a discussion between the two candidates for the lieutenant governorship last Monday. State Senator Joseph Benning and the former Lieutenant Governor David Zuckerman came to our studio at GNAT, and we had a really interesting 1 hour long conversation with the two gentlemen. It is on our website, and it will also be available for viewing on our channels as well, 1074, 1084, 1094. And, interesting conversation. Topics that we covered included housing, childcare, energy, law enforcement, as well as a very interesting conversation about the state of democracy in the U.S. At the moment. We're going to be hosting a couple of other roundtable conversations next week between Michael Rice and William Jotty, who are the candidates for the Bennington-Rutland 1 district. That includes Dorset, Danby, Landgrove, Mount Tabor, and Peru. And then about 2 weeks after that, we're going to be having another roundtable with the three candidates who are running for the Bennington 4 district, which includes Manchester, Arlington, Sandgate, and part of Sunderland. That would be Kathleen James, Seth Bongartz, and Joseph Jervis. So, stay tuned. I'm sure they'll all be very interesting conversations that will help voters be informed about who they want to vote for in the upcoming elections in November. Let's see. Another couple of items of note. Dina Janis, who was the artistic director of the Dorset Theater Festival for the past 13 years, has stepped down from her role as the artistic director and won't be involved in more productions there. She, I understand, will be remaining as a faculty member at Bennington College, teaching theater there, but after a very successful run producing some remarkable theater up at Dorset at the Playhouse there, she will be moving on. The current producing director, Will Rucker, is going to be the interim executive producer. One of the hallmarks of Dina's tenure since 2010 was bringing new theater, new plays that hadn't been staged before to the theater, and some of them went on to have world premieres afterwards. So interesting turn of events up there in Dorset. Returning back to water for a second, the select board is also moving forward on that somewhat delayed sewer and water project on Main Street. The board heard an update on how that's going. The first phase of the project has gone out to bid, and the town would also use a mix of ARPA funds and connection fees and money from their sewer capital investment fund to help pay for that first phase, which would run from Cemetery Avenue up to roughly the Vermont Country Store office complex there. Sewer and water lines are a very big deal when it comes to creating housing, and there is a housing project underway up on Main Street. And as we've all learned a lot more about in recent months and years, sewer and water infrastructure is really critical to helping housing developers build more housing. So that's another story we'll be following, and we'll be having a segment on already next week. So if moving on to things you might want to think about doing this weekend, excuse me, if you have the time, tomorrow, Saturday, the 24th, the Manchester Energy Committee and Earth Matters Electric Earth Matters Electrification um, are going to be hosting an electric vehicle rally at the Rec Park in Manchester from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There'll be electric vehicles on hand, other electrical items like weed whackers and other yard and garden tools for you to check out and learn more about. There'll be folks there showing off their EVs and describing them, how they work. So that should be kind of an interesting one. Electric vehicles, obviously, much in the news these days as solutions to moving towards clean energy are being discussed with greater intensity. Again, that's at the Manchester Rec Park. It will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday the 24th. And of course, the Peru Fair is back after a 2-year hiatus driven by COVID-19. The famous Peru Fair is returning. It'll start at 9 a.m. on Saturday, also tomorrow, the 24th. And there'll be the usual excitement around vendors, a parade, a pig roast, and all kinds of general good fun. Great event. It was one we always used to enjoy going to. If you're going, you'll be able to park your car at Bromley Mountain and take a bus from there. And the fair will be in progress until about 4 p.m. And the following Friday, I just wanted to mention this one real quick because we also have a little segment about this. Is the crowdsourced cinema will be coming to the Manchester Community Library. GNAT is one of the players in that. It's basically a screening of scenes from Star Wars movies, and a lot of folks, about 40 teams altogether, have pulled together different scenes, homemade scenes from the movie, and that should be an awful lot of fun. If you're any kind of a Star Wars fan, you'll definitely want to catch this. That's going to be Friday, September 30th, starting at 5 p.m. And I guess bring your lightsaber if you got it. Anyway, we'll leave it there for today. But thanks again for tuning in for us. And well, we'll see you again next week. All right. Have a great weekend. Thanks again.